Good evening, everyone. How are we doing? Excellent, excellent. I'm Kip Malinowski, and I'm here to introduce my friend, Parissa Tafty, who is running for Commonwealth's Attorney. I'm excited to vote for her, and you should be too. Parissa is a legal director with the Innocence Organization. She's argued for the poor in Virginia, in Maryland, in Washington, D.C., and in our nation's capital. She was able to get the first DNA exoneration. She's argued cases in front of the Virginia Supreme Court and cases leading up to the U.S. Supreme Court. But being a friend of mine, having a sterling resume, is not, however, enough of a reason to vote for someone. But here's what is. Arlington's a leader on affordable housing. Arlington is a leader on fighting for climate change. Arlington is a leader on business development. But Arlington is lagging behind on criminal justice reform. We need a Commonwealth attorney who's committed to justice for all. For too long, prosecutors have been seeking the maximum sentence for every crime. Lock them up, throw away the key. We know this approach does not work and it leads to mass incarceration. Parissa will take us in a different direction, a better direction. She will focus on preventing crime with greater community engagement. She will work to decriminalize marijuana. She will end cash bail. She will create systems to support the treatment of mental health. She will protect immigrants from unfair charges that lead to deportation. She will never seek the death penalty. Arlington and City of Falls Church, it is time to elect and vote for Parissa Tafty for our next Commonwealth's Attorney.
Thank you, friends, for this opportunity to announce my candidacy for the Democratic nomination to become the Commonwealth's Attorney for Arlington and Falls Church. As a new candidate, I've received a whole lot of advice, but one theme has been consistent, that good campaigns are run on issues. It's the Arlington way, to draw distinctions on substance, truthfully, and in a civil fashion. I intend to speak the harsh truth throughout this campaign, even when it's difficult to hear. I am Parissa Tafty, and this is what I believe. As an immigrant whose parents often struggled to make ends meet, I believe people should not be jailed because they can't afford to pay bail to get out. And when our delegation seeks my help to reform the bail system, I should do so with an open mind, not dismiss the request as silly and misguided. As a survivor of sexual abuse, I believe empowering victims and survivors is essential to the administration of justice, and will do everything I can to ensure that happens. As a parent, I believe diversion rather than incarceration should be the rule for young people, people with disabilities, and people with addiction or mental illness. And that a drug court that serves about 20 people at a time is just not big enough. As a Democrat, I believe a Commonwealth's attorney should not publicly support a lawsuit against a Democratic governor seeking to restore voting rights to returning citizens. As a taxpayer, I believe it is a waste of time and money to prosecute thousands of simple marijuana possession cases that have nothing to do with public safety and exacerbate the racial disparities that already exist in our system. As an American, I believe it is wrong for the Commonwealth's Attorney's Office to take your property just because you're charged with a crime. Not even convicted, accused. As an innocence attorney, I believe it is the obligation of the Commonwealth's Attorney to advocate for science-based policies rather than opposing reform. As a public defender, I believe that the Commonwealth's Attorney's Office should be transparent and accountable, and that it should collect and share all data that is of public interest. As an appellate attorney who had a client come within 10 minutes of being executed, I believe that the death penalty is wrong because it is the one punishment you can never walk back. As a law professor, I believe that no community, not even Arlington, this place we are blessed to call home, is immune from the misguided view that somehow we can incarcerate ourselves out of our social problems. And as a progressive with 20 years of demonstrated commitment to reform, I believe safety is justice and justice is safety. And in Arlington, it is long past time that we start leading on this issue. This is a defining campaign. Our Democratic caucus, our delegation, and my friend Jennifer Carroll Foy in Richmond have a bold criminal justice reform agenda. To ever succeed, they need the support from Commonwealth's attorneys. We need such a Commonwealth's attorney here in Arlington, an honest partner who understands, even outside of campaign season, the need to support policies important to Democrats. Last year alone, the current Commonwealth's attorney and their lobbying arm have opposed the following reforms, among others. They've opposed giving people a second chance by expunging minor marijuana or alcohol convictions that occurred before people were 21 years old. They opposed the decriminalization of marijuana, which was put forth by a member of the Arlington delegation. They opposed prohibiting the death penalty for the seriously mentally ill, also put forward by a member of the Arlington delegation. This race is important, though, for a deeper reason even. In the darkest days after the 2016 election, we rallied our spirits by saying that right here in Arlington, right here, we would rebuild. That right here in Arlington, we would show the country and the world what it means to live in a safe, inclusive, just, and humane community. I believed it then, and I believe it now. And we cannot build that community unless we, as President Obama said, put justice back into the criminal justice system.